We're back. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Breaking Tackles. Manny, Tone, welcome to the building. This is a new episode. We were off last week, but we're back, and there's so much to talk about. Manny, what's going on, man? How you living? How you doing, brother?
Man, I feel like this is like the most Madden offseason we've had ever with all the not even talking about our team.
Great
Obviously there's a
point.
lot of talk with the Giants, but just so many teams, so many
Oh,
turnovers, so
off
many
season is
changes.
crazy right now, man. It's a good
And it's
point.
not even, it's week one. Remember last year the Giants really didn't start doing anything until week two. So I can imagine there's a team out there in the weeds that are ready to pounce week two. But we
Yep.
got a lot to talk about Giants talk, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good, brother. I am excited, man. Twitter is going bananas right now, and we're gonna touch on all that stuff. And man, yeah, man, let's just go ahead and start basic. Let's go ahead and talk about what happened last week and the big news that was last week, obviously. And we're gonna give our takes of it because we tweeted about it, but we'll go ahead and we'll give video takes of it. The pay cuts that the two Giants took was Shepard, and the other one was Blake Martinez. Let's start off real quick. What do you think about Shepard still being on this team going on for next year?
I mean, he didn't need to take a pay. I mean, I guess maybe he didn't. Maybe he did need to take the pay cut because he was coming off the injury and
Right.
stuff. Which, by the way, I just saw him riding a bike,
Right.
a stationary bike,
Okay.
which tells me like I guess he's showing he's ready. So it'll be interesting. But
Okay.
I mean, you see, they've shown they've been able to. I guess I'm just really just surprised that Blake Martinez took the pay cut more than anything. I'm not surprised Sterling Shepard took the pay cut. I'm more surprised that they gave him the option. Like they
Okay.
must really think that they must think that this man might be ready. Like that's what I'm coming off of. And it's a torn Achilles. Like who knows? But they must really think that this dude is going to be ready to play and start. And obviously Shepard on the team is going to help Dayball's offense. And they talked about wanting to see the best of Daniel Jones. Well, Shepard's his favorite weapon.
Okay.
So he's going to obviously be able to see the best of Daniel Jones when you have Sterling Shepard on the field for DJ.
I
So
got
that's
you.
interesting.
I
And then
got you.
Blake Martinez, I mean, I think
Let's
we
let's
all were
let's let's
hoping.
go with Shep real quick first, and then we'll get into
Yeah.
Martinez. So my take on Shep: if Shep is healthy, he is a really good route runner. I would say above average route runner in a slot position, which is very important. I think we noticed how important Cole Beasley was to the Bills a couple of years ago, and it's a big impact in that offense. So they definitely have seen tape on Shepard, and they like what they see on tape. Now, what does this mean when if Shepard can't come back on time, or if Shepard doesn't look the same? He's an easy cut because of the pay cut. And on top of that, Shep is on a prove it year right now, so that hopefully next year he gets a bigger contract. If it's not here, somewhere else, next year we'll have the money. So if we like what we see from Shep, we'll definitely give him a 2-year extension or something like that. But I think it's a great partnership for both. Shep is not in a position right now where he could keep that salary that he had before, and at the same time, going somewhere else while you're recovering from an injury, I think it's a double whammy for him. I don't think it's a good move on his part.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? About
No, I mean, I think he was probably the one, like, I don't think anyone expected him to take a pay cut because I think people probably expected that he was just going to get cut anyways. Because why are you going to
agree.
take a pay cut to
We
play
said that he was gonna get cut,
badly?
and
Badly, though. We didn't want him to.
exactly, and not that we want, not that we don't believe in Shep, even though he's coming from an injury, a very bad injury. But it was just a necessity, to be honest, that we thought that he was gonna get cut, and um, but taking a pay cut, it's exactly the same. It's essentially the same thing as cut. But then what we have to understand too is that there is a room for Shepard before injury in the NFL. You know what I'm saying? Shep
Yeah.
is a good receiver. Like, dude, he's a number 3 anywhere else. No matter what team in the league. Very few teams in the league, he's not a number 3 receiver when healthy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think Shepard, like, it was surprising to see it more that the Giants did it, but it was good to see because it kind of says to me that they think this man might be healthy, ready to go. And when he's healthy, ready to go, I think he I think he's obviously one of the leaders of this team, and I think for sure if he's ready to go, he should get the C on his chest for doing that because he's always been about the Giants. Remember the famous "If you don't like it, you're free to leave." When
Mm-hmm.
everyone was dogging the Giants and dogging Joe Judge and what he does, him and alongside a bunch of other veterans were right there saying, "Nah, this is what we do. This is the program."
I
So
mean, they know how to talk to the media. You do need those guys too that are just they go to the beat of the coach's drum, and you do
yeah,
eventually need those guys in the locker room. They will go ahead and march to Dabo's drum next season too. So that's very true on that. I'll start first with Martinez. Martinez, pretty much, I yes, he didn't get cut. Yes, I said that he was gonna get cut, but essentially, again, a pay cut and cut to me is the exact same thing. Why is better to take the pay cut than to cut Martinez? Because at the end of the day, before Martinez's injury, he was an elite run stopping linebacker, so he's useful. Same thing as Shep. Shep is a really good route runner, so he's useful. So this is the best of both worlds. Cut the money off and keep Martinez. However, Martinez's importance, and evidently to Shane also, it's you're not that important because in my opinion, you don't pass protect that well. You don't play pass defense that well. Not pass protect. He's not a lineman. You don't play pass protection, pass coverage that well. So you're really not that. You shouldn't be getting paid that wealthy either. So again, I think for another thing for Martinez is prove it, and maybe you get more money next season, and you go somewhere else and make more money. Get another person. But Martinez absolutely it doesn't make the team worse by staying in it. And a lot of people didn't think that he needed to take a pay cut. I did though, because again, to play a middle linebacker in a 3-4, you have to be just a sideline to sideline player. I don't believe Martinez is, and I still think that we're looking for a linebacker. I don't know. Hopefully, it's in this draft. That's gonna be that linebacker 1, while Martinez is that linebacker 2. But we need a linebacker that goes from sideline to sideline, Manny.
yeah, yeah, and I think that's what getting Martinez, and along with a lot of the other things that they did that we'll talk about. But I think what it does is stabilizes the team, and in this case, it stabilizes the middle of that defense because we saw how much the run game suffered when they were out,
Mm-hmm.
and how much that linebacker play suffered. Even I know he was not the best pass coverage
But he's
linebacker.
smart. But he's a smart guy.
Smart, yeah, he's a
So
smart dude.
he'll use his smartness to be in better position than, let's say, for example,
Jay Crowder
a Crowder. Exactly.
or Jalen Smith to
Exactly.
extend his play too. So I think it was a good move to keep him because he's a good linebacker. He's your best linebacker on the team. So I don't agree with the whole cutting and pay cutting being the same thing because I think the biggest difference is the pay cut. He's here
Mm-hmm.
and we get him still. So
It's better, right?
it's the same thing for us when it comes to like the risk, but in a sense, it's different because we get him on a team
There's
and
no
it's at a
risk,
lower.
to be honest. There's no risk. These guys can be cut if they're shitty. Part of my language. If they're in the middle of the season, they're gonna get cut right away.
Don't fucking worry about your language, bro. I think it was a good move to do it, and I think it shows that hey, these guys, Shane and Dable, and the whole brain trust they got going on there, Brandon Brown, they all came and they're brand new to the Giants, but not
Mm-hmm.
Blake and certainly not Sterling.
Mm-hmm.
And Sterling and Blake were willing to take those pay cuts to stay somewhere where they wanted to be, a team that they wanted to see through. So it'll be interesting. It was interesting. It was good to see those happen, and obviously it helped the cap even more too. So that they were able to
Absolutely.
get these guys in free agency so far.
Absolutely, absolutely. And then what we had at the end of last week, early this week, I want to say, was the signing of our new center, possibly, in John Feliciano, Latino, represent. I love that. And starting guard, possibly, definitely has to be the starting guard, Mark Glowinski. I'm sorry if I butchered
Low,
that name, but yeah, I love the two pieces. By the way, everybody on Twitter, Manny was the first guy out here calling for John Feliciano. So absolute 1000%. Give my man his respect. That was all Manny. Manny, obviously, how you feel about? Let's go off first. Let's talk about both of them at the same time. It's a union at the end of the day. How do you feel about these two signings?
It's what we all wanted. We wanted them to get veteran, proven
Nasty
starters.
guys. Nasty
Granted,
guys.
maybe some of us wanted, like, because I saw other people that weren't too happy about it and stuff. Because someone said, our boy Mace said we got a pretty much a better Will Hernandez and
What's
stuff.
wrong with that?
So, yeah. I don't.
Yeah.
I mean, Will Hernandez is a bad taste in everyone's mouth, Giants wise.
Right.
But I love the hires. I love that the fact that they were able to sign John Feliciano, able to get a dude from the Colts offensive line in Glowinski who could have stayed at the Colts. They wanted him to stay, and he would have been on the best offensive line. Instead, he comes to a project offensive line, and immediately is at the number 2 best offensive lineman on the team.
Absolutely. Oh, so you think who you think is better, Feliciano at center or Mark at guard?
Glowinski at this point of his career, he's healthier. He's played more in the last 3 years.
Okay.
So
Makes sense.
he has a really, as far as a run stop, he's a lot more athletic. And the one thing with Feliciano is he's really smart, and especially at center position, like he's smart to be able to play center and guard. And then in college he played all. By the way, he's from the U. I love that.
Love it. Love the attitude from the U
What I love the most about getting Feliciano,
love that,
and our boy Bruce Leroy Glowinski. What I love the most about it is that I didn't a lot. Everyone will say, "Oh, the Giants got to draft 4 new offensive linemen. And they got to be starters and this and that."
Way.
What I love about this is that this stabilizes the offensive line
big time
inside, so that you don't have to go ahead and worry about getting
that 9-man stuff.
Guard, this and that. You can just go in and get the best player available. And best case scenario, there is going to be a right tackle you drafted in this class that is going to benefit from playing next to Glowinski and is going to be better. You're going to get a left guard in this class.
Great
going to benefit from playing next to AT
Feliciano and
next to Feliciano.
Absolutely.
You're going to be able to stabilize that already. And then we're not even talking about dudes like Shane Lemieux who's going to come back, Ben Bredesen who's going to come back, Matt Pert. They signed Corey Cunningham today as well. The offensive line depth, if they just drafted 2 more offensive linemen, and listen, we all want our preferences. We want Icky, we want Evan,
right,
and then obviously the top guards. But if those guys aren't there, there's still decent offensive linemen in the 3rd round, like an Abraham Lucas. Yeah. I like him a lot. And then in guard wise, you still got a Tyler Smith, who I think they interviewed in Giants.
That's a great point, man. It's not just 3 rounds in the damn NFL in the whole draft. There's a whole bunch of rounds we could get somebody.
And you can't plan with getting your starter in the 6th, 5th, or 4th round.
No, absolutely.
Even in the 3rd round. But that's why you have talent evaluators there, like a Brandon Brown,
I agree.
Who's drafted 6th, 5th, 4th round offensive lineman who start.
Okay.
Joe Shane is doing the same thing. And also the one thing that I like a lot about these 2 guys is not only Feliciano has been under Bobby Johnson as a coach, as offensive line coach, pretty much when he was with the Raiders and then when he was with the Bills, but so was Glowinski, because Bobby Johnson was the assistant O-line coach at the Colts when Glowinski was there.
No, there's a lot of chemistry already pre-season started, absolutely, which is gonna help.
I like
the signings make sense, bro. They're stopgaps. They're stopgaps.
They're stopgaps and stability. Right. And that's what this offensive line needs.
But then think about it like this: we are so bratty as a New York fan base. We want to go from 0 to 100 right away. Okay. We were the bottom of the barrel. Now, I'm not saying the last place, but we were in the bottom of the barrel along other teams in terms of offensive line. I will be okay if this offensive line goes to average. I don't need it to be top 10 in year 1, dude. Just get me to average. Because in my opinion, an average offensive line is 10 more points a game than we were scoring. What we were scoring, like 16 points a game? 10-point game with an average line. I'll call it.
Yeah.
And another thing too is people need to understand, and it's funny, I just convinced a guy today on Twitter. Yo, it's not just Daniel Jones that was looking bad in this team because of the scheme. It was every single player. Like, don't be surprised if you have another offensive lineman who was previously here last year, gets picked up by somebody else, and has a good year. Dude,
Well, Hernandez is still out there.
that's what I'm saying. And probably Will is going to go somewhere else. And don't be surprised if Will has a good season because it's just, yo, James Betcher, guys, Jason Garrett, guys, those guys really mess it up. When you have a team that didn't even have a hurry up offense, didn't even have a capable audibles to change out of plays, it's a joke. Come on, guys, you have to understand that this guy was hired and thank Gettleman for bringing him in, and he didn't know what he was doing. And now
That's the last time I want to hear Gettleman.
Yeah, I got you. Anyway. I got you. Yeah.
Because tomorrow we're gonna bring him up because he did something that pisses us off that we're dealing with right now. But like you said, we're Giants.
Just give me
fans.
an average offensive line next year, bro. I don't need I don't need it to be fixed in 1 year. I just need it to be better.
Because God willing, then we're gonna get a dude like Icky who can turn into the All Pro on the other side. And when you have 2 All Pros, that's gonna make the offensive line better, obviously.
Way better, so, right? I mean, dude, think about 2 All Pro tackles. Whoa, that shit would be scary.
Yeah, like the goal is this year for AT to take that next step, but also for Icky to come in and not be the All Pro, but at least be someone that we can see he's gonna grow into this dude.
I mean,
he's gonna be this.
Are you asking for much just to be better than the last tackle that we had in the right tackle? It's not asking much, man. Freaking what's that guy's name?
Nate Solder, Matt Pert.
Yeah. Real quick on Matt Pert, I'm gonna say this. This guy's coming off an ACL injury. He probably won't be around anytime soon. But I have no faith.
Expectation?
No, I have no faith in anything that the past coaching staff said about him. He has a clean slate in my book, and until this coaching staff tells me he ain't working out,
he ain't that.
I'm still hopeful on that guy because that guy has the size that you need. I don't know about anything else in terms of speed, blah, 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 blah. Let these guys that are way 20 times better coaching staff tell me that this guy is not good enough for the NFL. That's my take on that.
Yeah. I agree. Everyone's got a fresh slate, and it's going to be good. I'm looking forward to the training camp, and I'm obviously looking forward to the draft and who we draft as well too.
Obviously,
yeah. So it's going to be interesting. And I think another dude in the draft that we're going to need to draft is a starting tight end because we did sign a tight end, Ricky Seals-Jones, from Washington last year. Everyone remembers that one catch that he fucked us on over O'Dory. I'm still bothered by that game. Never gonna get over that game. Okay, but yeah, no, Seals-Jones. I mean, obviously, he's to me stopgap. A dude who's gonna be able to come in.
He's tight end number 2 in this team, to be honest.
For sure.
We don't want him to be tight end 1.
We want Trey McBride, Jake Ferguson, or Jeremy Ruckert.
Give me all the names you want, man, because I trust in whatever you're looking at. Tight end.
No, we want the tight end to be. We want the tight end starting to be drafted 3rd, 4th, 2nd round, wherever.
I'll tell you this much. It's another thing too. Another topic that's come up, and I don't know this because I have seen no film on Ricky Seals-Jones. I don't know if he's a good blocker.
He doesn't seem to be a good blocker, but he seems to be a guy who lines up in a lot in the field. I think I saw some play. I didn't see tape, but I saw some stats that said he lines up in the slot as well.
Perfect, and that's exactly what I'm going to point out and I'm going to talk about. Yeah. Guys, we are in 2022 offensive playbook. They're not going to ask their tight ends to stay in and block. They will at some point, but just think about it this way. The Kansas City Chiefs ran the ball, I want to say it was 43% of the time. Don't quote me on this. And the Buffalo Bills ran it. So Kansas City Chiefs ran it 47% of the time. The Bills ran it 40% of the time. It could be reverse. Point is, this offense, which is merged from Kansas City and it's merged from the Bills, they're not interested in running. they're gonna be running the ball at 45% ish, and that's maybe if they don't like what they have going on at quarterback. If they like what they're getting from Jones or Tyrod Taylor, we'll talk about Taylor soon, they're gonna be throwing the ball 30, 35 times in a game, possibly even 40. So stop with the running tight end. I mean, for the run blocking tight end. It's not gonna happen. We're gonna ask the tight end to block a few plays. Don't expect that to be the norm. We're not getting that guy. We need a guy who's gonna run the route, who's gonna catch. That's just my take on that.
That's something too. I've heard he dropped, like you said. We were listening to our boys over at Talking Giants, and they were saying that he's not like Evan Ingram bothers you. This guy may bother you as
Even
much.
more. Yes. But that's why me and you said he's tight end number 2. He's not tight end number 1. Tight end number 1 is still not in the building.
Any reasonable, educated fan of the Giants knows that this isn't a guy we're bringing in to take over for tight end 1. And anyone that thinks that likes to be in turmoil.
So my question with you, sir, is when are we drafting a tight end? What round?
I think third round.
If we want a good one, third round.
Third round. If you want to, I think you need to get your starting tight end in no later than the third round. Second or third.
If not, then the other guy. If it's later than the third round, he won't be tight end 1, right?
I mean, granted, there might be some good players there. Like I like Jake Ferguson. I like
You know what I'm excited about? I'm excited to see who we bring in that's undrafted, and it's just a stud. I want another Victor Cruz already to show up.
Like another Kevin Boss or whatever. Bringing Barrett Pasco.
Yeah, I mean, didn't we bring Kevin Boss and Cruz at the same time?
I think Cruz was Barrett Pasco time.
Okay.
But yeah.
And Barrett Pasco had something going on, right? He had like a good season or something like that. I don't know.
He scored a touchdown or 2 during that season, won the Super Bowl with the Giants. But yeah, no, I think CO is tight end 2, and hopefully we get our tight end 1 in the draft.
I'm gonna hold you to it, bro. I think that you're 100% accurate. I think that we're gonna pick up a tight end in the third round.
So, I do too. Mm-hmm. You know who we're not gonna probably pick up in this draft? Quarterback. We have 2 now. Let's talk about it. Tyrod Taylor, 33.
I disagree with you. You think there's only gonna be 2 quarterbacks in this team?
I mean, there's 3 right now.
Who?
Davis Webb's the 3rd one.
Okay, cool.
They may bring in a 4th for camp body, but I think they're taking 2 or 3.
I 100% agree with you.
I think they're probably taking 2 into the offseason, maybe.
What do you mean by the offseason? No, they have to have 100. They have to have 100
into the season.
Into the season, okay, because they have to have 100. They can have up to 100 people in the roster till week 1.
Right.
So,
you've been very adamant thinking that this man is better than Daniel Jones. So talk your shit.
Okay, so you're talking about Tyra Taylor, our newest signing, who was signed this week. Yesterday, I think it was.
2 days ago, yeah. Yesterday, I think Wednesday, maybe.
Okay, so Tyra Taylor, guys, and this is gonna be probably me and Manny's first discussion. I think Tyra Taylor is a great signing. He, to me, and this is what I'll say. Right now, he is better than Daniel Jones for these reasons. He has more pocket of presence than Daniel Jones. I feel like he has had more experience when it comes to calling audibles, calling game plans, better than Jones. And that's not Jones' fault, to be honest. That's on Jason Garrett. But in terms of his career, he's had less fumbles than Daniel Jones. He's had better touchdown to interception ratio than Daniel Jones. And I feel like if we want to win some games, we want to be competitive next season, he might step in and play. Now, the one thing that I'll say about Daniel Jones is we know what Tyrod Taylor is. We know what he's capable of. We're not winning a Super Bowl with Tyra Taylor. We might not even, we might just win a couple of games. We might be in wildcard contention. Cool.
You remember when Shane? Remember when I was telling you Shane the first year he was with Buffalo, they went to the playoffs. Tyrod Taylor was a starter.
There you go. And Tyra Taylor is a good luck charm to bringing in an elite quarterback or a very good quarterback, because everywhere that he's been kicked out of, it's been replaced by a freaking elite or really good quarterback. Except for
Baker Mayfield, though. Question.
except for Baker Mayfield. Okay, and
Good question.
and Baker Mayfield sucks in my opinion. He's not a good quarterback. I don't care what anybody says. Um,
Okay.
um, the one thing about Jones is we just don't know what Jones is. He was unfortunately stuck with Jason Garrett for 2 seasons. I think that regressed him. Do I think he can unregress? I think can he improve? Absolutely, and I would love to see Jones what he can do in this offense and with this scheme. Am I gonna be mad if he gets beat out week 1 from the starting spot from Tyra Taylor? Absolutely not. I wouldn't be mad
If
about
he
that.
gets beat out by Tyrod Taylor, he wasn't that dude anyways.
And I want to give you guys an update too on this. You don't bring a guy for a backup and you have him doing an interview as a backup. You don't have him talking about what's my favorite song. You don't do that. Tyra Taylor, for anybody who has checked it out, go check out his interview and his little like what he likes and dislikes on the Giants. This guy was told, in my opinion, even though you're not gonna hear this from anybody, you can earn this job week 1. And the way that the social media team has already advertised this guy kind of gives me that feel. This is just me giving a straight up speculation about
That's
it.
a really that's a good point, and I think that's probably what they told him as well too. Like I think they behind closed doors, they're going to try to help the whole team as a whole, backups and all, but I think they're also letting it's a legit competition.
It's gonna be a war, man. I think everybody is up. Everybody's position is for grabs,
Yep.
except for 2 guys.
And even those guys, they better step up. They better not have bad camp days. They better not have a bad camp. They better not regress.
The 2 guys I was gonna mention is Xavier and AT.
AT.
Yeah, those are 2 guys that I feel like their job is bank. But I agree with you. You still gotta shut the tempo.
I don't think this man is better, in my opinion.
Oh, Tyrod?
I don't think
Go ahead.
Taylor is better than Daniel Jones.
How so?
I just think that the ceiling when it comes, we never seen Tyra Taylor move as fast. I've never seen him like being able to.
So the physical traits is Daniel Jones has better physical traits.
Daniel Jones, the physical traits are more there with Daniel Jones.
Yes, I agree 100%. He has a better arm. He's more mobile.
Yeah, I think the one things that have muffed him has just been where like the situation he's been in, and also too like it's really hard to compare 11, 13 years or however long Tyra Taylor's been a quarterback to Daniel Jones.
3 years.
3 years.
Right.
Like everyone keeps saying this man has been in the seat for 3 years. Like nothing is there in 3 years. It takes time. So
yes and no. I would say this: it takes time for people in bad offenses. Because look at Ryan Tannehill. Ryan Tannehill went from Miami to Tennessee, and he was more than serviceable in Tennessee. I feel like that's possibly what could happen with Daniel Jones, where he's been stuck with a terrible, terrible offense, and now he's going to get exposed to a decent offense, and we might have our version of either Jimmy G or Ryan Tannehill in the Giants, which is fine. My only counter argument to you is just because he has a better arm and better legs doesn't mean he's the better quarterback. That's the only thing I would say on that.
Yeah, I feel you. I didn't really give you any much things than that because I'll just leave it up to the coaches.
Do I want Daniel Jones to win the camp battle? Yes.
I really honestly want the best quarterback at this point. I don't care if it's DJ, if it's EJ, if it's Tyrod, if it's Davis, if it's Amos.
I agree.
I don't care.
I agree.
I want the best QB to play. That's all I care about.
Amen. So that's that on Tyrod. Let's talk about today, what broke out today, which was Logan Ryan getting released. My brother. Woo, woo, woo. Hey, I call this one.
I'll say this. You were on this. You were on this for whatever weird reason. You, Dan Duggan, Rat the Fat Leonard, were all on this.
Okay. So I don't know what the beat reporters thought about that, but just off the bat, I started thinking about, listen, safety is just not that important position, to be honest, when it comes to analytics. Even though Mace told me right now, showed me the WAR, which is the WAR above wins above replacement, And according to the screenshot he showed me, safety's pretty high, which I was shocked. And I think I've seen another list where the safety's position is not as high. I thought that safety was the equivalent of running back, so you don't take running backs and safety high. That's just my opinion on that. But I was like, man, look, and the only reason was because you convinced me that cutting Logan Ryan, and it's very true, it's not cap efficient, so it wouldn't make sense. And I was like, it's not cap friendly, and it wasn't. We only saved $750,000 on that, so that's like a bet minimum. Get a bet minimum.
You're taking depth away from a secondary that was loaded, and now you're adding another need that you may have. That.
So that's what I want to get onto. This is what I feel confident about. We know that if you watch tape, Logan Ryan is a better above the box center fielder type of safety. He's very smart. But what happened? We have the better athlete in Xavier McKinney playing center field, and the athleticism overshadows maybe how smart Logan Ryan is. Xavier McKinney, who knows? He maybe is also a very smart guy and is learning from Logan Ryan when Logan Ryan's time was here. And, dude, maybe because it was a losing season, but Xavier McKinney was at the right spots very often on a shitty team, on a shitty defense. So I can only imagine on a good defense how much more impactful Xavier McKinney was. That's that. So in terms of center field, we have a better center fielder than McKinney. In terms of in the box, Logan Ryan isn't providing you anything that honestly Julian Love isn't doing right. Julian Love, really good at covering running backs off the backfield and is a very solid tackler. When you ask him to blitz, and shout out to Shane for showing me that, he's a really good blitzer. So I was like, you don't have to have this guy's salary in this team, especially when we have Love who could do what he's doing, and then we have McKinney could do what he's doing too. So that's my thought about that.
The only thing is now you only have two safeties on the roster, and that means now you have to clear up cap again to go ahead and get a replacement there.
I think we drafted safety in this draft very late.
But that's the thing, though. You can't you're not going to draft 9 guys who's going to be able to play on your team and be starters and be.
You don't need the starters are Love and McKinney.
Yeah, but don't you need the depth behind those boys? You can't just have those guys
there. They're special teams, bro. And then if you got, for example, if you got a guy who's more athletic than Love, and you feel like can replace Love in week 7, week 8, week 9 in the season, then you put Love in special teams and you put that guy in to be the starter. And if Love gets hurt, you just sign somebody for dirt cheap off the streets. It is what it is.
Yeah, but I guess that's what I'm saying is that's not really going to help this team or anything like that. And then
it's not going to help. But remember, we're trying to win today while helping tomorrow. Cutting Logan Ryan, it's not a today move. It's a tomorrow move. We won't have to deal with that dead cap next season.
I guess we don't know what they're going to do. For all they know, they may sign the Deshaun Elliott that was from the Ravens. I played with Wink. They may sign him.
Is he going to? I mean, I don't think. I personally don't think that they're going to bring in a safety on free agent safety unless it's like a dude for like the minimum.
That's what. Hey, here's another guy. Here's another dude. Okay. Maybe not the best fit in his defense, but fucking Peppers is still out there. He's still out there. He's still training at the facility.
So here's why I wouldn't bring Peppers in. Peppers does the exact same thing that Love does. Peppers and Ryan and Love, they're the Spider-Mans pointing at each other. That's it.
Yeah.
So it's like they're not unless you want to bring in Peppers for death in case somebody gets injured. You got Peppers in, and Peppers has a very good chemistry. Peppers elevates the locker room. He's a very good locker room person. So was Logan Ryan. That's the problem with the Giants administration last the Gettleman era, whatever. I'm sorry I said it, Gettleman again, but and again. He did bring a lot of good chemistry guys Unfortunately, he didn't bring a lot of big ball guys, a lot of swag guys, but he did bring a lot of, oh, this is a kumbaya locker room.
Yeah.
So
No, no,
so
we'll see.
so Logan Ryan is and Peppers are. Oh, I wouldn't mind having them back in the locker room at a discounted super vet minimum price because those guys are good kumbaya dudes. Those dudes would never mess
Well,
up the
yeah,
environment.
we'll see. We'll see how it goes. It's
Hmm.
just I just wish that
And you never
this
know.
was.
In the middle of the season, let's say for example, if Logan Ryan doesn't have a job, which I highly doubt, um, and somebody gets hurt, he might get signed again.
And we, like you said, they may sign some other guys.
Hmm.
May draft a guy that we like a Daxon Hill or Jalen Petrie from Baylor.
I, dude, I'm 100. I would not be surprised one
I mean,
bit
because
if
right
we
now
get a safety from
they
the
still need to
draft, and
clear.
he is in special teams in year one.
They still need to clear cap as well too.
Right.
So for all we know, they may get a trade with Bradbury.
And we'll touch a base on
One of
that.
those, yeah, one of those trades. Yeah, we'll get into that right now. Well, they'll use one of those trades, get up in the third round if you see a safety you like, and then go from there. But I know you feel very strongly about Bradbury. You want to give this man a 5-year extension already. So
That's such a dramatic. But let's talk about real quick because of these signings, because of these cuts, because of the re-signings. How does this affect the draft? And for you, at least, just let's not get too much into the draft because we've already spoken about draft. And it's free agency. Let's give free agency and re-signings and all that stuff the respect that it deserves. Just give me. Does this change your first 3 picks? So the first 2 picks in the first round and the pick in the second round.
uh,
What were you? What was your before and what is your after? Has anything changed?
nothing's changed really.
Mm-hmm.
I want the three same people in general. What either number
A
five,
tackle.
one of those top tackles, or
Mm-hmm.
one of those top edges.
Mm-hmm.
And if
Okay.
and none of those guys are there, Sauce.
Okay. Uh,
At 7, Sauce, or 5, if Sauce, if like pretty much I want one of those top tackles, one of those top edges at 5, Sauce at 7, and then at the top of the second, we take one of the best guard available, the best guard that's there. Like if a Kenyon Green or Zion Johnson's there, take them.
okay.
Be hyped that they're there. And if it was a situation where like those the top 2 edges, the top 2 tackles are gone,
You want
Sauce
sauce?
at 5,
Mm-hmm.
and then either trade down 7 or take like a Jermaine Johnson at 7. Like I like him a lot.
I
And
don't
then
mind that.
down the draft we go and get the guard still. So it doesn't really change a lot for me. Like I
Okay.
like for me Sauce needs to be a draft pick,
I agree.
and he needs to be an O lineman or an edge. However it is, whether the O lineman's whether it's 2 O linemen and Sauce, whether it's an L lineman, whether it's an edge, Sauce, O lineman, whether it's O lineman, Sauce, O lineman, whether it's Sauce, edge, O lineman.
Mm-hmm.
Either way, I want Sauce and I want an edge and an O lineman and go from there.
All right. Sounds good. All right. So I have an ugly suspicion that Sauce is not gonna be there by 5. So we're gonna be able to pick up one of the 2 tackles. Um, and I'll be honest, 100% honest on this. I would prefer them picking Kayvon over Neil. If Neil is there, yep. If Neil is there and it's Neil and Kayvon, I want Kayvon. Because Neil is coming from that Patriots offense in Alabama where it's get the ball out of the quarterback's hand before 2.5 seconds. It makes him look really good. I saw enough tape where he was going with the big guys, with the big names, and he just didn't look good at times. So that's just my thing on that. What would be my ideal scenario? It would be Sauce, it would be Kayvon, and it would be Lloyd at the second round as the pick right there. That's my dream scenario. What really is gonna happen is we're gonna get stuck with Neil, and I hope I'm wrong about this guy. We're gonna get stuck with Neil. We're gonna have and I think it's gonna be Neil and either Kayvon or Sauce at 7. and then we're gonna have the middle linebacker regardless in the second round. I think we're gonna go for a middle linebacker in the second round no matter what. And then the offensive lineman that everybody wants, we're still gonna pick up 2 offensive linemen in this draft. It's just not gonna be top. You know, those first 3 top pick is gonna be 2 offensive linemen. It's not how you build a team.
I mean, if that's what your needs are, yeah, but this team doesn't need needs, especially if they trade Bradbury. They need a number 1, number 2 that's going to be able to develop to a number 1.
100%, I agree with you 100% on that. You don't draft for
needs.
You draft for whoever's just the best player out right there on the spot.
And if it works, that meets opportunity, perfect. Because with any of those needs, edge, secondary, cornerback, you know, O-line, we need all those spots. And luckily for us, like both of us feel very happy with whatever combination of that is, as long as it's one of those combinations.
Absolutely. And last thing that I'll point out is on why am I so really stressed out on, not stressed out, but why it's so important for us to get Sauce Gardner. If in my ideal world, not the ideal world, my ideal world, going into the season with Bradbury at corner, Gardner on the other side of the corner, and Adoree playing the slot and not having the 3 safety look, but instead of 3 safety, we go 3 corners look. And as long as it's 11% on the field, meaning 3 wide receivers, and we can match anybody's 3 wide receivers with these 3 corners, that's going to give our defensive line more time to rush the passer. I just looked this up today, and I haven't verified it yet because I looked at it through my phone. But supposedly, we were the top 4. We were number 4 on QB hits last year. On opposite, so our defensive hit the QB 4th best. To me, QB hit means if you just held that QB for a little bit longer the ball, you would have gotten a sack.
Yeah.
And on top of that, this is very verified. For the majority out of like the 8 or 9 8 out of the 9 games, 8 or 9 games this season, the QB that was playing against us got rid of the ball like 0.2 or whatever. It got rid of the ball faster than his average league release of the ball. So for example, if what's his name? Let's say the Cowboys QB, Dak Prescott, gets rid of the ball on average on a 2.85. He got rid of the ball against us on a 2.65, meaning that we just made their jobs easier when they were playing against us that week. So that's why, and we could get now into the trade, you know, how me and you are going to disagree on this. I want Bradbury next year here no matter what, because if we have Sauce, Bradbury, Adoree, you could bank it. It's a playoff spot.
See, I don't think that's true, but also I think because what happens then, you're going to put Adoree in the slot.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that may work because Adoree's fast,
Mm-hmm.
but I think the only way you're going to help this corner get better is by putting him in the best scheme that's going to fit his strengths, but letting him play, as opposed to
he's gonna be cornerback too.
That's the thing. I think you need to groom him. I think you need to put him at 1. I think honestly you do.
What does it matter? What does it matter? You're still on the field.
You're on the field, yes, but we know 1 and 2 are different. Like
how so?
Like for example, the Green Bay just traded Davante Adams.
Right.
Davante Adams is now going to be the number 1 cornerback,
number 1 wide receiver. Right.
And then you know who the number 2 wide receiver there is? Hunter Renfrow.
Right.
There's a huge difference when you're going against Hunter Renfrow and Davante Adams. And even when Davante Adams was at Green Bay, huge difference with Davante Adams and Lazard or Cup.
And what I'll say to you is this: you're reading way too much of the depth charts. That you're confusing depth charts with your game plan on the field. In the depth chart,
there's quarterbacks that do follow those wide receiver ones.
You could have Gardner follow Davante Adams and not be cornerback 1 on the depth chart. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
I guess I'm just saying is just I think
The depth chart is just is a fugazi
like
thing because at the end of the day, this is a league where you're running 11 personnel all the time. What does it matter if you're not QB1 on the depth chart? You're going to be on the field starting and you're going to be playing 60 snaps most likely because 11 personnel is what runs the world nowadays.
But you can't have Sauce on a number one and have Bradbury make that money working on twos and tight ends.
Why not?
Because
isn't the point to try to win?
The point is trying to win, but also too, it just those assets can be allocated towards signing this draft class. Those assets can be those assets that Bradbury has instead of having two number one cornerbacks. Those assets
100% agree with you. If we can't sign this off this draft class, doesn't matter. So I agree. Somebody has to bite the bullet. It's probably going to be Bradbury to bite the bullet for the draft class to be signed. So if that's the case, yes. To be honest, I'd rather cut Saquon than cut Bradbury. That's how I feel about it. Because again, it's the importance of cornerback is more important than running back. That's it.
Okay. Now I feel what you're saying.
But in terms of cornerback 1, cornerback 2, I feel like people are out of their mind if they're thinking about depth chart belonging on the field. There's no such thing. That's like saying right tackle, left tackle. That's like, dude, what difference does it make from wide receiver 1 from wide receiver 2? Wide receiver 1 and wide receiver 2 are going to both be switching sides, and wide receiver 1 and wide receiver 2 are going to get snaps in the slot. Does that make him wide receiver 3? Absolutely not. Devontae Adams is still going to be wide receiver 1 no matter if he's on the X, on the Y, on the Z. Cornerback, you want to match, it's not best on best. You want to match your fastest corner against the fastest wide receiver. You want to match your heavy corner against the big guy, and you want to play your guy who could play the slot better, have more agility against a slot wide receiver. That's just it. Hey, and that's pretty much it, man. That's why I feel like if it's so funny, we just had this conversation. I'm so happy because if that's what people think, then they're not thinking logically.
I guess what I'm just more thinking about is just
the draft pick signing.
Draft picks, and then let's just listen. If that's not part of the future of what Shane and them want to do, then let's just go ahead and just band-aid that bitch like we did with Logan. And it may stink, may not help the team this year, but long-term it will. So, hey, like we said, bro, we wanted this carte blanche. We wanted this change. We wanted this regime to do what they do and have that carte blanche over everything. So, it's what they do.
I hear you, brother. In terms of Saquon and Slayton, anything on these two guys that you want to touch base on?
I think Saquon is going to stay, and I think Slayton is a casualty, is a possible trade candidate.
Okay.
Maybe not someone today. Maybe it's going to be someone maybe in the draft.
Okay.
Maybe. But I don't, especially because now they have Sterling, and they signed another dude. You know, they signed Board, they signed CJ Board, they signed Foster as well. I think they may have a legit addition for 4 now.
I have no opinion on that. In terms of Slayton, Slayton to me is too irrelevant for anything. Like they might just seen tape on Slayton and it was like, we like his speed, we hate his hands. Let's see if we can work on him. And
how do you hate it? If you hate a wide receiver's hands, it's like hating a chef's cooking.
But
that's not good.
100%. You cut a wide receiver after that. My only argument to that is they probably also saw what Slayton was, which Slayton could, like 2 years ago, not 3 years ago, whatever. Daniel Jones' first year was Slayton's first year, and Slayton was this guy's gonna be the next OBJ of our team. I mean, I think he was like putting up like ridiculous rookie numbers. Slayton
for he was at like 800 yards, 700 yards in that range. Like,
no, bro, it was something ridiculous that I saw a stat of that I was like, holy shit, this guy is a diamond in the rough. It was something like nobody has had more touchdowns than Slayton since this year. Like that crazy.
Yeah, it just definitely he's regressed since then and stuff.
But
And
then
maybe has a lot to
again,
do with the coaching
remember,
staff.
it's Jason Garrett. Jason
Yeah, maybe
Garrett,
it's the coaching staff
the
too. Yeah, yeah.
whole blanket regressed on the Jason Garrett. So that's why the only thing is, let me wait to see to this coaching staff tell me he's trash.
And then, bro, remember, like we did a lot of like our free agency frenzy last year when signing those guys. We did that didn't happen until week 2 of the free agency. So we still got a good amount more to get into this
Yeah.
for sure. The
It,
Giants aren't done. I don't think they're done. I think they need more
no
stuff to
way,
do.
because the names of the people that there's still guys that are not day 1, day 2, day of free agency to be signed. Obviously, you're gonna have the guys that are the day 5, the day 7 of free agency day signed. So that there's gonna be a lot of names to become maybe this weekend, maybe next week for sure. Absolutely.
Definitely.
All right, I think we are wrapped the hell up. Anything else that that you wanna throw in out there?
I just hope the Giants keep making these smart moves. Like everyone's gonna have an opinion on Logan Ryan. Everyone's gonna have an opinion when they trade Bradbury.
I don't
Everyone
think
has
Logan
opinions
Ryan
on the other.
sucked, by the way. I just
I
think
think,
he's
I think, yeah, I
I
think,
think
yeah, I know you thought, yeah. I think now we should. I think it's all about stability and getting pros that are going to come in and be solid players on your starting lineup, and hopefully that's with the offensive line class that they got in, and then also with with getting Tyrod Taylor as a quarterback. Like I'm just excited to see what the rest of it's going to do, and like we said, bro, we're just that much closer to the draft from now. And you know
I
the draft, that's my shit.
I 100% agree, man. The team as is building up now, I am very optimistic about next season.
Yep.
Unless they start just tearing it apart, I am really excited about next season.
Yeah.
2 quick announcements that I want to make that are just off topic, but
Oh.
mess with y'all. First is we opened up a brand new YouTube page. This page is going to be exclusively just for breaking tackles. So please, this video is going to be on that page. Like, subscribe. We would appreciate and drop comments both on the video in YouTube, and also hit us up on Twitter and let us know what you guys thought about this episode. And the following announcement, and this one Manny doesn't even know about, is that we're going to be on Spotify next week. So yes, for those of you that didn't want to watch on YouTube because you want to also have you want to be on your phone and you want to be listening to it and not actually watching it, we got you. Breaking Tackles is going to be back on the podcast. We'll eventually get it back on Apple Play, on Apple Podcast. But for sure, not this episode, but the next episode of next week is going to be on Spotify. That was a new
Brother, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, man.
Let's get it.
Absolutely, brother. So, for Manny, me, I see you guys. Thank you so much for supporting us. Thank you for everything you guys done. And, yeah, man. It's exciting offseason so far. Go ahead, Manny.
Feliciano.
Feliciano.
Feliciano. The Giants signed John Feliciano.
Feliciano, John, we know that we are big fans and we're expecting big things from you just as you are, brother. I love your attitude that you came in and said, you know,
baby.
you're just like this. You at the opportunity of playing the center position. So we want in on that. Let's go, baby.
Let's go.
All right, guys.
Appreciate y'all. God bless.